Black History Month 2025 closes out, let's remind ourselves of some very important but basic fundamentals, some truths that we ignore at our collective peril. First, we must know this, that the African diaspora is not one thing. It has several constituencies and components spread across several continents. None of us has all of the pieces. None of us has all of the story. None of us has all of the wisdom. And just because you or I may live in a position of relative prosperity, privilege, access to education and other blessings, does not make us alone the custodian of the entirety of the diaspora of the African peoples. And let us also not forget this, that while the struggle for emancipation has been very real in every part of the diaspora, the victory in the battle for the abolition of the trade in enslaved Africans, the largest, most industrialized, and most heinous form of human trafficking the world has ever seen, was not achieved by one diaspora group alone. The struggle was global. We must honor figures like Equiano, whose 1789 autobiography provided first-hand testimony of the horrors of the Middle Passage and transatlantic slavery, galvanizing the British abolition movement. We must remember Kwabena Otoba Cugoano, who, after gaining his freedom, published thoughts and sentiments on the evil of slavery in 1787, becoming one of the first Africans to directly challenge European powers through published work. And let's remember Ignatius Sancho, born on a slave ship, who became a British composer, writer, and the first known Black Briton to vote in a British election in 1774. His published letters exposed the inhumanity of global slavery to British society. So, in Black History Month and beyond, remember the role of the European African diaspora throughout our history, which is our story. I say this to remind us that the European African diaspora has been active in the opposition against the empires, the colonial and mercantile systems that have been so much a part of the oppression and exploitation of the sons and daughters of Africa. And we must also never forget the terror of the Arabic slave trade all the way down the East African coast. The earliest Pan-African Congress meetings were held in Europe for this very reason, with W.E.B. Du Bois and other delegates attending from all over the world. Without the visible and vocal presence of the African diaspora and their fellow African visitors in Europe, and particularly in England, that struggle against the trade in enslaved Africans and the other expressions of the oppressions of empires and colonialism would have been much, much longer and harder for all of us. The true power of unity in the African diaspora will take the respect and recognition of every part by every other part of the diaspora. For us to achieve the dreams and prayers of our progenitors, of our forebears, and the yearnings and aspirations of our own hearts and our own dreams for the generations to come, we must learn that without you and without me, without all of us, we are weaker. We must join hands and work together for the betterment of all humanity. Another Black History Month will pass. But let's not forget the lessons of our history. It is only when we have stood together across the distances of this global village in which we all live that we have been able to achieve the greatest leverage in the long journey to our freedom. I'm Archbishop Doye Agama. God bless you.